Well, the show was intended to include a range of Melbourne-based design research projects as a part of the Melbourne showing of The Future Is Here. And we put our hands up, or were invited, some combination of the two. We were invited to design the exhibition graphics for the show. And rather than taking it from a purely commercial kind of standpoint or a more conventional graphic design approach, we looked at some key precedents in the field and the history of writing in particular. This was one of our key starting points for this project.
The use of type is, I guess, a key shared interest, for both of us, for both of our practices. I guess because of the physical nature of exhibition design, what we talked about, what we got to quite quickly was the use of lettering as opposed to typography. And so one of the key parts of the exhibition design is this typeface, which uses the open type format and exploits that to incorporate a whole lot of alternates into for each character.
And we should mention the typeface that is the key component of the graphics for the exhibition was developed for us by a type designer named Dan Milne, and he responded to our brief and took it in really amazing new directions, developing a range of alternate glyphs. So the lowercase e, for example, R's, cap E's in the titling and so forth. You can see the strokes undershoot or overshoot, resembling the way the hand might construct letters. And so from the basic brief that the typeface ought to incorporate some of the idiosyncrasies of handwriting, Dan's work was an invaluable contribution to the exhibition graphics. One of the initial attractions to this project for us was the opportunity, or at least the possibility, to put a really fat marker in the hand of a $500,000 robot. Unfortunately, that didn't eventuate because there was a lot of demands on the robot's time to make the rest of the exhibition furniture. So we had to settle for a $250,000 3-axis router instead of a $500,000 robot arm. Certainly it was the idea that we might bring some of the logic of handwriting back into machine-generated lettering.
And also, I guess, using equipment that's not generally used in graphic design. One of the other common things in our practices is using technologies in ways that they weren't designed to be used. And so with the manufacturing focus that this show has, being able to exploit some of that seemed to fit kind of really nicely with our practices and research interests.
Relatively tight deadline for what was a fairly ambitious production strategy. But in addition to this kind of experimentation with production technologies, we're also aiming to show off some of the most advanced production technologies of graphic design today, which included Indigo Printing, which is a digital offset print technology. Typically it's used to make mail merge flyers and so forth, customised flyers that might feature the addressee's name. Instead of using it in this way, we use the variable data to take the pattern that Studio Roland Snooks had used as the basis for the tables in the exhibition. And there's 4,000 copies of the exhibition catalogue, but each one of those has a slightly different background pattern on it. So it, in this way, shows off some things that are today fairly conventional graphic design production technologies, but using them in an unconventional way.